Hey guys, and welcome to /Rex Games. So last time we put together everything that we needed to traverse our platform world, but it was all pretty bland. Everything was in black and white, and our player didn't change his sprite. So in this video we're going to be doing just that. But before we do that, what I want to do is create a GUI object that is going to show us all the player variables as they change whenever we press certain keys. So when we do get to the stage where we do change our sprite, we are in actual fact setting our player to the correct sprite depending on what the player is doing. So objects, let's go in here, let's create object GUI, and let's add a draw GUI event. Let's grab some code. Okay, so firstly let's draw set color. There we go, and I'm going to do make color red, green, blue, and this is going to be 183 to 2431, which is /Rex Games Lime. Then I'm going to draw text. This is going to be 1010, and it's going to be our state, and it's going to be object player dot state. Then let me copy this a few times, paste it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be good. We need to see what our jumping variable is. We need to see what our falling variable is. We need to see what our h speed is, and our v speed, and our direction. Okay, so that was state. This is jumping. So that'll give us a 0, 1. Falling, also 0, 1, h speed, and our v speed, and this is our direction. Okay, let's space these out. 30, 50, 70, 90, 110. Fantastic. So this is going to be at our top left. I'm going to insert this into our game room, and then we are going to go back into our game and fill around, making sure that these things are updating depending on which buttons we press. So we go room, game world, objects, GUI, over there, cool. Top left, fantastic. So here we are again. We have our very bland sort of game world. There's our player. Let's see what happens. So his sprite obviously isn't going to change. We haven't set any code up to do that. But here at the top we see state is standing. Jumping is 0, so that's false. Falling is 0 is false. Our h speed and our v speed are 0. And he's facing right. So if I push A to turn left, bam. Okay, h speed moved slightly, because it was anticipating an acceleration to move in that direction. But anyway, we're still standing, so that went back to 0. And the direction is now left. If I jump, jumping is 1. Falling is 1 when I fall. Pretty cool. And it still says standing there. Okay, that's fine. So we have our jumping. And our v speed is changing. Negative, positive. Pretty cool. So let's walk left and right. This is A or D. Walking. There our h speed gets to a maximum, 3 point something. It's all fine. If I hold down shift, it says running. H speed goes all the way up to 9. Until we collide. And then 0. See? Doesn't matter what we're doing. We are colliding. Very cool. So if I push down, it says ducking. Nothing changes, obviously. But all our variables are working correctly. How cool is that? So now that we know variables are being set exactly as we want them to be set, depending on what the player is pressing, we can start setting up our sprite changing. So let's go through our sprites. We've got stand, we've got run, we've got walk, we've got duck, and we've got jump. So one thing that's very important is to make sure that the collision masks of each one of these is exactly the same. So if I go modify mask, notice here I have a manual bounding box, left 20, right 44, bottom 63, top 0. Okay, so 20, 0, 44, 63. Remember that. So let's go to one of my other sprites. This is duck, 20, 0, 44, 63. Our walk, 20, 0, 44, 63. See, that's all good. It's not exactly taking in the whole image to account, but this is my acceptable collision mask for each of them. They're all exactly the same, because when we changing our sprite, we don't want our player to get stuck in a wall when all of a sudden he's running and his leg is way out the back. Cool, so make sure that all the masks are exactly the same. That's fantastic. There they are. Okay, so let's jump into Object Player, expand our step, and our do stuff. I'm going to introduce a script called set sprite, and let's copy that. Let's open up our script here. Let's create it. Script set sprite. That's good. Okay, so set sprite and sprite index. So if jumping, it's a good place to start. Then it's pretty simple. Our sprite index is SPR man jump. And our image speed is going to be 0.1 because I think we have 2 sub images. Oh, we have 3. Cool. So we jump, and then slowly it's going to go to that when he falls. So that should be a good time. By the time he gets to number 2, he'll probably be falling. But you can fiddle with this value to get everything right. Next, let's say, well, if falling. Now, falling and jumping are pretty similar, so let's set that sprite to the same. Let's set our image index to this one, number 2. So it's going to do the jump, and then it's going to do this as we fall. So that's going to be 2. And our image speed is going to be 0. Because we don't want it to change. So what happens if we're not jumping and we're not falling? Well, then I want to take into account our state. So our state was either standing, walking, running, ducking. Those are the other options. So let's switch on these. So if I'm standing, we'll break over there. If I'm walking, oops, just don't forget our colon, break. Then there was case running. Then there was case ducking. Very good. So if I'm standing, well, that's pretty simple. Our sprite index is SPR man stand. There's only one image index, so we don't have to set that. But our image speed is 0.2. Okay, cool. If I'm walking, well, then our sprite index is SPR man walk. And our image speed I've determined to be 0.35. Looks fairly realistic. If we are running, then our sprite index equals SPR man run. And our image speed equals 0.4. If we're ducking, well, then our sprite index equals SPR man duck. And our image speed equals 1. So feel free to fiddle around with these values, move around. If it doesn't look quite right, you can increase or decrease these ones. And so it'll cycle through these sub-images at a different speed. So lastly, we need to switch on our direction, because we can be doing any one of these at different directions. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be duplicating these sprites and then mirroring them in our sprite editor. No. Rather, what I'm going to do is something simple. Switch on our direction. So we can either be left, or we could be right. And if we're left, well, then our image X scale is -1. And if we're right, our image X scale is 1. Cool, hey? And that does everything for us. That will mirror us to the other side. So at this point in time, we have set up our sprites. If we're jumping, well then set us to the jump sprite. Set our image speed to 0.1. If we're falling, set us to the jump sprite again, but put us on the second sub-image, and our image speed is 0. If we're not jumping or falling, well then we're either running, or walking, or standing, or ducking. And then, if so, set the appropriate sprite with an image speed that we have calculated before, and that looks fairly realistic. And then lastly, point us in the right direction, depending on our direction over here. Cool, so it's okay. Okay, save. And let's see what happens. Okay, so move left. Walking left, check that out, that looks really good. Walking right. Fantastic, let's try some running. Left, sprint, walk, sprint. Cool, huh? Jump. Cool. We got our jump, we got our fall. Everything is working really well. And it looks a lot more impressive than having a block jump up and down. Look at that, we got a proper sprite guy. Oh, he's fallen off the edge there. Okay, cool guys. That's fantastic. Let's test. And one more, let's test duck. Oh, that's not right. Okay, we need to have a look at the duck section of that piece of code. So let's go there right now. Okay, so we need to go back into script set sprite. Let's see, something here we did wrong to do with ducking. So jumping, falling. That's over here. Sprite index equals sprite man duck. Image speed. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's supposed to be image index equals 1. That was the mistake right there. Cool, let's test that out again and see what happens. Okay, so moving left, moving right, sprinting left and right. Oh, looking good, ducking. Fine, fantastic, jumping. Cool, everything is working as we wanted it to. So, I hope you found this tutorial educational and helpful. Please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. If you like this video as well as many of my other ones, you can support me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate your support. If you're looking for a fun arcade shooter, check out Element Earth. It's my first official mobile game ever, so check it out. There's a link in the description. You can follow me on various social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find the project files to this video straight in the description. So coming up next time, we are going to be making our game world look a lot prettier. So we're going to be doing views, we are going to be delving into tile sets and what exactly those are. So stay tuned for more of the very best GameMaker tutorials. Until next time, happy coding, and I'll see you then.